Okay, so look at the Call of Duty World War II open beta at 21/9. I really wanted to love this. I wanted COD to be good again, and I love the World War II setting, which also meant I wanted this game to be great so that I could play another World War II game again. But of course, I should never have put that much hope on a COD title, because no surprise, it fails. Well, at least the beta fails to be great. It's barely playable at 21/9 for one thing right now. Ultra-wide support-wise, the game apparently, from the mouths of the developers, supports ultra-wide resolutions, but it really doesn't. Yes, gameplay correctly shows off more on the sides of the screen, but the FOV cap of 90 means basically no one will be able to play this comfortably on an ultra-wide screen. 100 is a maximum FOV I would deem acceptable on a slider, and so this means for the majority of 21/9 users, this is uncomfortable to play. I was constantly aware of my restricted, zoomed-in view. I didn't feel all-out sick, but I certainly felt uncomfortable enough to have to stop playing after half an hour. The FOV is just stupidly low, and there is no fix to this. The only piece of potential hope is that whilst multi-monitor setups are not supported as of now, the devs have said that it will be supported at launch, alongside HDR support. That might mean that in order to get that multi-monitor support, they will have to increase the FOV max, and so we would be able to go higher. But that's all speculation, and I wouldn't hold my breath. Anyway, on the rest of the 21/9 support, there is more bad news when you realise that there are small black bars on the sides of the screen at all moments, essentially like watching a 2560x1080 video on a 3440x1440 screen. Because of the very slight aspect ratio difference, you get small black bars, and so it would seem that whoever coded 21/9 support for this game coded using the 2560x1080 aspect ratio and failed to bother to get the correct 3440x1440 aspect ratio. Brilliant work. At least the HUD does scale to the sides of the screen, though screen effects are stretched to fill the screen space, and it is very noticeable that they do. Cutscenes are 16:9 with black bars and 21:9, which is at least a good point. Menus are all 21:9 with the menu elements locking to 16:9 and the background scene just filling the rest of the screen space. I have no problem with this. Performance-wise, things are very spotty, but once again, who's surprised by a Call of Duty title having terrible PC support? It's just an easy assumption now that that will be the case. I'm on a GTX 1080 Ti at 3440x1440, and whilst yes, I could run everything at ultra settings, Filmic, SMAA, T2X anti-aliasing, and was basically locked to my screen's max refresh rate of 95 FPS at all times, whilst doing that, it still didn't feel smooth. Something about gameplay just felt off, not silky smooth, regardless of the point it's a high FPS value, and this appears to be down to bad frame rate pacing. Just because you can run the game over your desired FPS, the speed that each frame is rendered can vary, and if it varies massively each time, then you're still going to get a slight stutter. But my performance experience is actually good, because it seems for a lot of people things are a lot worse, so don't be surprised if you have difficulty running this. This game may appear to have what is a lovely set of graphics options, and it is certainly an extensive list, but if the game still can't run smoothly with all these settings available, then they mean nothing. You might as well have none. On more general PC support points, the game did crash twice for me in a few hours. Because of the terrible frame rate unsteadiness, using a controller is impossible because you can't judge movement speed accurately at all. This got me really frustrated to the point I started to have to play with the mouse and keyboard as I just couldn't deal with it. There are a good number of settings for things like control rebinding and the like, however the one option they missed, and kind of one of the most important ones to provide, is there is only a click sprint option, not a hold button option. Who likes single-clicking sprinting? I don't know, but especially in a fast-paced title like this, having that option I think is vital. Gameplay-wise, well, if you've played any Call of Duty, then no joke, you've played this before. I've always loved COD, well, apart from MW3 and Infinite Warfare, which are both useless games, so believe me when I say I wanted this to be a good game. But it doesn't hold a candle to competition like Battlefield 1. The styles of maps being so similar and gameplay so identical to all previous titles really is just getting too old. I need the next Battlefield to be in World War II because clearly COD won't be satisfying that interest. I was hoping gore was going to be back in this like World at War, but that seems to be a false hope as well. Yes, there is some gore, but it is rarely limbs blowing off, even with direct grenade hits. It focuses more on improved bloody bullet holes appearing where a player was shot, which admittedly is at least somewhat of an improvement. Sound design is as solid as ever, with guns sounding satisfying and varied. Graphics are also solid, not the best around, but COD has improved lately and isn't lagging behind as massively in this regard as it used to. One of the biggest changes to gameplay is of course divisions. No longer will your weapon selection be based around creator class anymore, but more about the style of character the person is playing. That said, things aren't massively different. Whilst you now might pick between infantry, airborne, armoured, mountain or expeditionary character types, each one is more or less just like you selecting a certain playstyle. So instead of building your creator class to have close range combat in mind, this expeditionary division is already focused on that. I actually really support this division system at the moment. It's proven a nice change up from the creator class system, and really anything that tries to change the copy-paste formula of the multitude of COD titles that's come before it, I'm all for. There is one bloody annoying feature to using in-game menus, and that is they reopen wherever you closed it from. This stupid method of working means you can't just quickly flick through the menus like normal when doing things like selecting a new division to play as mid-game, because you have to load at the menu, work out where in the menus you are, then navigate to the menu screen you want. It's a frustrating problem that I need fixed. I constantly tried to quickly select a new division and found myself doing something I really didn't want to be doing by accident in the menus. Yes, this is a beta, and yes, things will change a little before launch, but not much will. Certainly COD titles are known for their lack of gameplay tweaks post-launch, for the most part, and also for changing very little from what they call early builds, so it's a safe assumption this is exactly like it will be at launch. I'm going to give the beta a WAF score of 2 right now because gameplay is barely passable as 21.9 supported. I'm not giving it a higher score until we see a better FOV range. I do at least have some hope though that this will come. So I hope that gives you some information how the game runs at 21.9. Give this video a like if you found it helpful and subscribe for future info. For any of the games at 21.9, head over to my channel or the WAF website. Hopefully I've covered it. If I haven't, then leave a comment down below and I'll try and cover it. And if you'd like to support the channel, the links to my Patreon page are in the description and Amazon affiliate links are there too. See you later.
Infantry in the library. Enemy capturing A. Baker's lost. Closing with Charlie. Enemy contacted, Abe. Need ammo! We lost A. C captured. They're capturing Baker. Lost B. On the balcony. Movement in the creek. Securing Baker.
Reloading! Cover me!
Baker is ours. We hold Baker.